Hey sports fans, this is Straight from the Basement with Ommy. I'm a 57-year-old sports fan who always said, since I never played sports professionally, then let's talk about it. I am born and raised in New York City. I played organized basketball for several well-known teams in the mid-'70s and early '80s, such as the legendary home called Rucker Tournament, Millbank, Stone Gym and Riverside Church, LaGuardia House, and my all-time favorite, Each One Teach One. Having sports in my life at an early age always kept me out of trouble. If I wasn't playing basketball, I was either playing football or baseball. Hey sports fans, this is Straight from the Basement with Ommy, where my opinions, views, and facts will cover the hottest, the latest, and the past sports events. So welcome again. Thank you guys for hanging out with me in my basement on my last show. I want to thank everyone so far who has liked and subscribed to my podcast. So please, for those who haven't and for those who are new, please like and subscribe. And like always, as promised from my last show, I always read a few of your responses before I get into today's topic. And so, last show's topic was regarding the New York Yankees ace pitcher Garrett Cole's contract must be retracted. And my questions for that show was, should the Yankees start the process to retract Garrett Cole's contract in the offseason if he can't win at least 15 games against the top-tier teams? Then my second question to that topic was, do they keep Garrett Cole for the remaining 7 years as their ace, or do they start looking for another ace if this season doesn't go well for Cole? So I received, like I said, and I read a good 3. I needed to read a good 3 because the topic of the day is going to take a little time, but we're going to have some fun with it. So I got Big T from Monroe, New York says, yes, the Yankees should start the process to retract Garrett Cole's contract if he can't win at least 15 games against top-tier teams. When you sign a guy to the largest contract for a pitcher in Major League history for 9 years at $324 million, you do not have time to be waiting. 15 wins or more against top-tier teams is a must, period. Question 2, if the season doesn't go well for Garrett Cole, the Yankees have to cut their losses. Remember, he's their ace. They can find 2 other ace pitchers for the price they are paying him. 7 more years will be a complete disaster. Listen, Big T from New York, I definitely think Big T. Yeah, that's Big T from Monroe, New York, excuse me. I definitely agree with you. I got TK from Harlem. All Major League Baseball contracts are guaranteed, so I don't think the Yankees can retract his contract. But if it were possible, pay that man. You signed him, pay him. I can't think of plenty of athletes who sign big contracts and underachieve. So question number 2 from TK from Harlem says, Yankees definitely need to start looking for another ace if Cole has an off year. However, definitely wouldn't think about trading him based on having an off year. Not yet. All right, so TK from Harlem looks like he's going to give Cole maybe another year after this year if he sucks. Excuse my language. Frank Man from Manhattan, New York says, I think it's too late for that now. Yankees ownership will have to wait until Cole is in his last 3 years of his contract to be traded. And then number 2, the response for that was Yankees need another ace ASAP, but that might be impossible because the money is tapped out. And you right about that, Frank Man from Manhattan. So let's start the topic of the day. My topic of the day is college and professional sports playoffs. I'm going to repeat that one more time. College and professional sports playoffs is the topic of the day. As sports fans, we can't wait for the playoffs. It doesn't matter the sport. We just can't wait. We as sports fans, we change our lives for that moment. God forbid if you're lucky to get a ticket to one of the playoff games, you don't even go to work that day. You know what I'm saying? And you may not even go to work the next day, depending on how the game took place and what time the game finished. You probably stressed out, can't even get up the next morning. So playoffs, getting a ticket, that's another animal. Playoffs in front of the TV, man, I got to get off work. I got to make some stops. I got to eat dinner at a certain time because we got to get settled in front of that TV when it is time for that game to begin. Another thing about the playoffs, we as fans, we talk about the same playoff game for the next 15, 20 years. We can reminisce. We can go back like if it was yesterday. The playoffs, something about the playoffs, no matter the sport, we just don't forget. You know, sports in general is an animal. You know what I'm saying? It's a beast where it stops you at that moment, no matter your problems, no matter your financial issues, no matter what's going on in your life. For that 2-3 hours of playoffs, for any sport, listen, your world is good for that moment. So I want to name some of the playoffs in sports that I put down on my list. And yes, and if I forgot any, listen, that's okay. So I'm going to name number one. Number one, college basketball. March Madness, people, both men and women. Now, last month, I don't know about you, but I live for March Madness. I totally live for March Madness. The men, the 15 seed, where we had 15 seed St. Peter's beating the big bad Kentucky Wildcats. Kansas won it all. In the women's side, we had South Carolina with Coach Dawn Staley winning it all. March Madness, it brings out the tears and the crying. Oh, man, just looking at the fans, you know, who's losing the game and then who lost. The cameras are always going into the stands. People crying, breaking down. It's oh, man, it is madness. Number two on my list, college football. You got some towns here in this country that the fan base is just so crazy that it supports the town. I mean, the ticket sales is bananas, okay? We know who the national champions are right now, and that is the Georgia Bulldogs. Third on my list is MLB, baseball. Yes, baseball season just began, but the wild cards in them playoffs, they're getting more every year exciting. They doing new things in baseball to make the game not so boring. And so, you know, the playoffs is man, it's on and popping. When we know who the World Series champs are right now, which is the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves ain't win one since 26 years ago. Remember, that was the 90s. Atlanta ruled the 90s in baseball. Moving on to my fifth, NBA basketball. Play-in and the playoffs. Play-in just started. That play-in just started a couple of years ago because of the bubble, because of the corona. Listen, it's very exciting. Playoffs right now, NBA, that is. Listen, I got a question on that later on, but for right now, it is definitely on and popping. Number 6 on my list is tennis. For all you tennis lovers. Tennis got the U.S. Open, got the Wimbledon, got the French Open, got the Australian Open, Listen, for all you tennis lovers, okay, it's on for every year. I'm starting to love tennis more than ever right now, okay? But that's for another story. Next on the list is soccer. Soccer got that World Cup and many more tournaments. Remember, you American fans, it's not called soccer outside of America. It is called football. That's just soccer 101, people. Number 8 on my list is NHL, the hockey. For all you crazy diehard hockey fans, playoffs is getting ready to start in 2 weeks, May 2nd. Listen, sports fans, hockey is the only sport that players can actually just get down and fight and the referees are just stand there and look. They go at it. And then after that, they get their little timeout in the box, go in the corner. Next on the list and last on my list is golf. For all you golf lovers. You got the Masters and you got the PGA Tour. You got many more tours. And so, I got 2 questions, people. 2 questions. And before I mention those questions, I really need you guys to think about the teams and the sports that I just mentioned. Because my first question is, what is your favorite sports playoff that have you saying, damn, I can't wait to talk about it? I'm going to repeat that question one more time. What is your favorite sports playoff that have you saying, damn, I can't wait to talk about it? Next, number 2 is, since the NBA playoffs is on and popping right now, who do you think will win it all and why? So I'm going to give you my responses right now on both questions. NBA basketball always been my first love. Always been my first love. Playoff time, my first love. But I'm going to be honest with you right now. NFL playoffs is right now, for me, my opinion, is neck and neck with the NBA playoffs. I can't separate the two. I thought I could. NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs. For me, neck and neck. I get the same joy. I got to get up from my seat. I'm doing my own coaching, standing up in front of the TV. Is the defense set right? Do they got the right 5 on the court? Listen, both got me insane. So I want you guys to think about that. And for my second response, for my second question is, Milwaukee Bucks will win it all. Why? There's one man that no other team in the playoffs right now can stop. You may be able to slow him down, but you can't stop him, and that's Giannis. The only NBA player, if he's healthy and he's committed, that can slow down Giannis is Anthony Davis. And I'm not just saying that because he's down with my Lakers. I'm just saying it because it's the fact, okay? But we ain't going to get into that. Please submit your responses in my basement chat so I can read your comments on my next show. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me in my basement. Please like and subscribe and ring the bell in my podcast. And as I always say, sports is what keeps this world from going insane, either in a pandemic or no pandemic. Until next time, you guys take care.